Welcome to episode 24 of Two Guys, One Sport. My name is Chris.
Brother Chris, the Toronto Blue Jays are in town to play my Chicago Cubs, which means my hometown, the second city, land of the fair and free, is inundated with Canadians, and not a single one of them is Kenny Omega nor Mike Elgin.
That is true. That is entirely true. They are not there.
No, it sucks, but they will be there later. They'll be there for Ring of Honor in October, which we'll get to.
Yes, we will get to that. Welcome to the show, everybody. We have a lot of stuff on the docket tonight, and I really do mean a lot of stuff. It's so much stuff that trying to go through it all would take up too much time in the show. So we're just going to dive right into it. Match of the week. You got a match of the week?
I don't actually. Shit.
Okay, I will. I will do mine then, real quick. Since we're going to be covering the G1 finals tonight, I figured I would pick what was probably my favorite match of the G1 that was not the finals, and that would be your friend and mine, Mr. Kenny Omega, facing off against the man who is making his debut tonight in CMLL. And we'll go from having the love of all the Japanese ladies to having the love of all the Mexican ladies, Mr. Juice Robinson. They had themselves a match fairly late in the G1. Juice was at this point out of contention, but wrestling amazing matches the whole way through. Every opponent he had, he wrestled an amazing match against. Great performance. Juice was probably my favorite performer of this G1 because every match that he had was just a brilliant exhibition. He's
the best babyface in New Japan, other than Naito, and I mean that as 100% sincerity. He's unbelievable. Yeah. And Brother Chris, yet another failure for the Performance Center.
Yep, the theme continues. The theme rolls on. You know what?
I'm gonna that horse may be dead, but I'm gonna beat that dead horse. You know why? Because you know why you beat the dead horse, Brother Chris? Let me tell you why you beat the dead horse. It sends a message to the non-dead horses that you're not fucking around.
Yep. So, Juice at this point in the G1, I mean, he had apparently suffered a leg injury, whether it was a work or a shoot, I don't know. But he'd been selling a leg injury in basically every single match since the start of the G1. I think it was his, I want to say it was his right knee, I want to say, maybe? Right knee or left knee, one of his knees. So at some point in every single match, he would come up lame on a move where he had to use his legs, and that would be the story of the match from then on out, was him selling the knee and his opponent taking advantage of it. This match was no different. There was a spot early in the match where Kenny went to flip Juice over the ropes, and Juice held on and dragged Kenny over the ropes with him, but they both landed pretty hard on the outside, but Juice took the worst of it, and then Kenny picked him up and threw him into a table on the outside the barricade. So from that point on, Juice was on 1.5 legs. We'll call it generously 1.5 legs. But my God, if Juice Robinson doesn't have the best work punch in all of pro wrestling worldwide, I don't know who does.
It's beautiful. It's a thing of beauty, my friend.
And the one spot where Kenny comes off the ropes looking for a V-trigger, and Juice just gets up and ducks the V-trigger, turns around, and just clocks him right on the jaw, is absolutely beautiful. He did that a couple times during the G1, and it was an awesome spot every time. So, Juice got a couple of attempts at the pulp friction, couldn't ever get it off. Kenny finally did hit the V-trigger, had him up for the one-winged angel, but Juice, being the resourceful babyface that he is, and not stupid like WWE's babyfaces, rolls down, gets Kenny into a small package for the 3 count, and immediately loses his goddamn mind. I forget who it was. It might have been Rovert. I don't know if it might have been somebody else. But somebody said on Twitter after the fact, Juice Robinson is eventually going to have to stop looking so shocked after winning all these big matches, because he just was saying, "Oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck!" He couldn't believe that he won, and he like tackles Red Shoes and is like, "Are you sure it was really a 3 count?" Yeah, just like losing his shit. It was the best thing, and like. yeah, Juice was out of contention at that point, but still, that triumphant moment for up and coming babyface, it was spectacular, and the crowd was out of their minds for it. They lost their minds when he finally got the win. And I don't know if Juice is going to be at Wrestle Kingdom 12 because of this run in CMLL, but if he is, I said to you in our Twitter chat, I've said it to some other people, if Juice does not win a title if Juice is competing on January 4th at Wrestle Kingdom 12 and does not win gold, I will be utterly shocked. Like, just absolutely shocked. I don't know what they would be doing and win a title because he is so over at this point. He's more over than Kenny Omega is at this point. The ladies fucking love Juice Robinson.
I love Juice Robinson because that hair is just luxurious.
That tweet I showed you where he said, no, what was it? No, it wasn't a. God, I can't remember if it was a tweet or if it was something he said. No, he said it into the mic at the English commentary desk after one of his matches. I don't remember which match it was, but after one of his matches, he said into the mic on the commentary desk, he said, "We're going to be drinking some Sapporos and something about having sex with fine Japanese women." I don't remember.
Balls deep was his exact.
Balls deep in Japanese woman is what his words were. Yep. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah,
it was spectacular. I don't even care that it's vulgar as shit. It was spectacular. It was
great. You know what? We talked about. We may have talked about this off-site. We may have talked about this last week. Do you remember when Juice first started in New Japan and nobody gave a shit about him? And he was doing the clap your hands, and he was doing like the standard babyface stuff, and nobody cared. It wasn't that long ago, and now he's super over. You know what he is? And I rag on the Performance Center, but all gimmick aside, all joking aside, he is a testament to the creative freedom of New Japan and the hard work of anybody. I'm not saying that's obviously not exclusive to New Japan. There are people who work hard all over wrestling, all over the world, but he has worked like a dog, and he has embraced the role he's been given, and he's built himself from the bottom up. And I hope he wins a belt at Wrestle Kingdom. I think he deserves it.
Yeah, I would love to see.
I'm here for Juice Sabre Jr. or Juice Suzuki for the never open weight.
I would be okay even with Juice Omega for the U.S. Like that would be fun. And hell, I mean, if you want to have a callback to last year to Juice's initial rise to prominence,
Juice is supposedly getting a U.S. shot at the Ring of Honor show that I'm going to in October.
Nice.
Yeah, well, I haven't bought a ticket yet, but there's seats available. It's not that far from here. I can take a train to an Uber, so I can make that happen.
The other thing I would like is a callback to Juice's initial rise to prominence last year, because he really started to come out of his shell when he tagged with Tanahashi last year in World Tag League. So maybe an IC title shot? I mean, Tanahashi's probably losing the belt to Zack Sabre Jr. somewhere along the line since he's been submitted by Zack Sabre Jr. twice now.
Yes. But definitively, too. Not fairly clean.
But yeah, it's a good fun time right now in New Japan. A lot of exciting things happening. Did you come up with the match of the week?
I did. We're gonna kill two birds with one stone. My match of the week is going to be the Okada Omega B Block Finals.
Yes.
That way we're going to talk about it later. And I want to talk about one specific spot in this match because I know we're up against it.
Yeah.
First of all, this match is my favorite of all the three they've had.
Mine too.
30 minutes long instead of 45 minutes long.
Yeah. They cut all the fat.
They cut all the fat. They went to it right away.
Yeah.
I mean, the match looked like it was going to be over in the first 5 minutes.
It could have been too.
Here's what I loved. We've talked about Okada's storytelling abilities, right? I've compared him to Bob Dylan a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice he tried to go for the kip up and couldn't do it?
Yes.
Did you notice how he couldn't do it the night before or either in the tag match on the A-Block finals?
He did such a good job with that.
You know what it reminded me of? You know what it reminded me of? You may not have been watching then, but when Shawn Michaels came back at SummerSlam 2002, which I may have had a match the week before.
Yes, I believe you did.
Okay, he came back. He was selling the back and selling the backbreaker, chair shots, bad back, herniated discs, backbreaker, right? Triple H working the back, and as he's making his comeback, he does the kip up. Crowd loses their mind. Great spot because it's the Shawn Michaels greatest hits moments.
Mm-hmm.
In this match, Okada goes for the kip up, can't do it. And did you hear the crowd gasp?
Yes.
Chris, if you know what? Kazuchika Okada is the best wrestler in the world, and it's not close for who number 2 is. It's not close. Because this guy at 30 or 29, however the hell old he is, has mastered the little shit. The little shit that 99% of wrestlers don't do. You know who else sells on offense? Like
29.
29. You know who else sells on offense and who's a young man who sells on offense almost as well, if not better than Kazuchika Okada, is Roman Reigns.
Mm-hmm.
Those two guys are the masters of selling on offense, which is my thing. It's my thing.
Yeah. And let me tell you something. If the crowd had not been in Orlando, had not been so busy booing the shit out of that WrestleMania main event this year, when Undertaker went for the tombstone, you probably would have heard a similar gasp when he couldn't do it. You probably would have heard that if the crowd wasn't too busy being dumbasses. Anyway.
God, that match was so terrible.
Besides the point, though, I mean, that's one of the things I love about New Japan. Like I talked about Juice selling the knee consistently throughout the tournament, and Okada selling the neck and the back for those ending few matches at the end of the tournament. Same thing. They're good with drilling in the idea of consistency in storytelling. I mean, it's one thing.
You know what it is? Everything in their universe is connected.
Yeah.
Every like in WWE they don't sell on offense because people go to see their favorite wrestlers do their favorite moves. Mm-hmm. Right? You go to a Randy Orton match, you want to see the RKO. You go to Roman Reigns match, you want to see the Superman punches and the spears. Like, if you don't see that stuff, you get pissed. I get that. But there's no long-term narrative arc. You know what I'm saying? That unless it's Roman in a match. Yeah. Because he is just sublime at the selling on offense. In fact, he's too good at selling because I'm tired of watching him work from underneath.
Yeah. Like, we've talked about that too. Yeah.
Screwed over because he's so good at selling.
Yeah, we've talked about that too. Yeah, but like they paid lip service to it though. Like the whole thing with like Cesaro wearing the freaking kinesio tape on his shoulder for now over a year at this point. Yeah, it's lip service.
Like DDP's taped ribs.
Yeah, it's lip service at this point.
It's part of his outfit. It's like,
nobody cares anymore.
I don't have the new 2K17 or 18 or whatever it is, but I have the one from 3-4 years ago. And you can edit the guy's outfit. I bet in this one you can edit on kinesiology tape. It's part of their outfit. Just like
probably
part of Cesaro's outfit, just like Nakamura's little armband is part of his outfit at this point.
Yep.
Like it's not. It doesn't mean anything anymore. There's no stake. I thought this match was great. I thought it was better than their two previous matches by a mile. The only thing I didn't like was that since it's an Omega match, all these guys land on their head over and over again. I never need to see that. I never need to see that reverse Hurricanrana on the floor for the rest of my life. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Oh my God, that was awful to watch.
One more Okada note, and then we'll get to Evolve.
Yeah.
How about him selling the arm and the hand because his neck hurts so badly, his hands were tingling. You ever get a stinger? You ever get a really bad stinger on your neck or upper back? And your whole arm just goes numb.
I've had enough back and neck pain in my life from scoliosis that happens. Yeah.
Your arm. It's like instead of reaching and grabbing for the neck, he flexes his hands to try to get feeling in them because he has a pinched nerve.
Yeah.
But the Miz kip up may be my favorite spot of the year, other than Goldberg and Lesnar when Lesnar leapfrogged on the spear.
The fucking jump.
The fucking jump. The Jedi force leap. Brock Lesnar did, and that match is my favorite spot of the year. But Okada not being able to kip up because he's been beat to shit for 19 nights. Real quick, do you want to keep talking about the G1, or do you want to talk about Evolve in Progress?
Let's do Evolve in Progress first.
Sure.
This is just
by all means. You were there. You lived.
Yes,
You were in the sweatbox. Tell us about it.
I was there. So Evolve 91 and Progress New York both happened last Saturday at the Elmcore Youth Activity Center in Queens, New York. I was present for both shows. Reports are correct that the AC did break in the building during the course of the day. So by the end of the night of the Progress show, it was probably about 95 degrees inside the building. It was terrible, but that didn't stop everybody from having a great time. They also ran out of food and ran out of water, as reports did say. The reports saying that there were no bathrooms are not correct. There was one men's room and one women's room, but the lines obviously were so long and chaotic that it was essentially a moot point. That said, though, I mean, aside from, the building issues are their own separate thing. The wrestling on these shows, easily some of the best in the world, independent wrestling. Some of the best independent wrestling that I've ever seen. I'm not going to go through every single match because there were 6 matches on Evolve 91, 8 on Progress, and we have a lot to cover tonight. So I'm just going to go through some highlights. Number 1, first of all, South Pacific Power Trip. Our best wishes to TK Cooper, who injured his ankle on a twisting moonsault from the top turnbuckle to the floor during the Progress Tag Team Championship match against British Strong Style. They had to carry him to the back, and then he was wheeled out on a gurney right in front of me, out to the outside so he could be taken to the hospital. Apparently was in surgery for about 10 hours to fix it, but being the good-natured guy that he is, he was apparently in good spirits the whole time, despite the fact that his girlfriend, Dahlia Black, was distraught because she had suffered a pretty bad ankle injury earlier this year as well. So the two of them, Dahlia tweeted actually earlier in the week that they were just going to tie their lame legs together and compete as a three-legged race from now on until they were both better. So they're great though. I had never seen South Pacific Power Trip in action before, and I've never seen anything from Progress. Spoiler alert. This was my first actual experience with Progress because I haven't gotten around to buying Demand Progress yet. But if this show is any indication of what Progress is capable of, I definitely will be getting Demand Progress very soon. So yeah, all the love in the world, South Pacific Power Trip. TK Cooper, hope you get better soon. And Travis Banks. Jesus Christ, Travis Banks. If you're not Progress World Champion by the end of the year, I don't know what the fuck they're doing, because this guy, after he watches his best friend mess up a move and have to get carried to the back by a bunch of the rest of the talent, he then, on the fly, says to Jim Smallman, make a handicap match. Let me face Trent Seven and Tyler Bate on the right now in a handicap match. It's a non-title match, but he grabs the mic out of Smallman's hands and says, This used to be about the titles, but now it's about family. Make the damn match. And so they made the match, and wow, this guy is one of the best baby faces I've ever seen. Just in terms of being able to get the crowd and galvanize the crowd behind him. Like at one point, Pete Dunne, who was walking around on the outside, I'll get back to him in a minute. But Pete Dunne had been walking around on the outside, and was distracting the ref at one point. He grabbed the ref, and the ref had and then he jumped down off the apron, and the ref went out of the ring and was arguing with Pete Dunne, and in the process of throwing him out. But with the ref's back turn, Trent Seven took advantage and low blowed Travis Banks, and then went for the pin. Then, thankfully, though, Banks kicked out because the ref was taking so long to throw Pete Dunne out. Banks had everybody in that crowd behind him, and he managed to pull out the win against Tyler Bate and Trent Seven in what was an amazingly fun match. Really great stuff. Love everything that I saw there. Going back to Pete Dunne, for those who are not aware, the previous night at a Battle Club Pro show in Brooklyn, Pete Dunne had been facing Darius Carter, and Darius Carter, being the dangerous person that he is, fucked up and opened up Pete Dunne hard way, and Pete Dunne had to get 11 stitches in his head. He looked gnarly. It was terrible, but that meant he obviously could not wrestle. Now, he had been scheduled for a WWE United Kingdom Championship match against Jack Gallagher that night. So Progress show opened up with Jim Smallman explaining the injury situation. Dunne comes out, starts running down the crowd, says that he owns Progress, he owns WWE. He owns New York. All this other crap.
Hey,
Gallagher.
it's his world. We're just living in it, my friend.
Well, here's the thing. This was. If you didn't love Jack Gallagher, you're gonna love him after this. Gallagher comes out. Crowd is eating him up. He's doing his old gentleman gimmick. He doesn't have William III with him, but he's he's got his whole gentleman gimmick going. He's walking around all prim and proper, marching and doing his whole thing. He comes to the ring and he says, he's talking to Pete, and at one point he's just refuting all of his little quips. And at one point Gallagher says to him, "You own WWE. That's funny. I didn't see you at TV last week."
Oh, shots fired!
The whole crowd loses its fucking mind. Pete Dunne is Pete Dunne turns purple. He's trying to restrain himself from punching Gallagher straight in the face. It's so funny. Gallagher asked for a handshake agreement that they'll do the match at another day. Dunne slaps his hand away and walks away. That's that. But Gallagher did end up having,
not you, him.
Gallagher did end up having a match against Zach Gibson that he won, and Zach Gibson is easily the most hated person in all of Progress. By the way, if you think you've heard people get booed, you haven't heard what happens when Zach Gibson comes out, and the whole crowd, every time he opens his mouth, just starts booing and saying, "Zach is crap. Zach is crap. Zach is crap," again and again and again and again and again. Let's see, what other highlights do we have? Wrestler of the day. On both shows. If you had asked me a week ago to pick out Mark Haskins from a lineup, I would not have been able to tell you who the fuck Mark Haskins was. After these shows, holy shit. Mark Haskins is easily one of the most fun people to watch that I have ever seen. Dude is he's got all the best characteristics of a Juice Robinson or any other kind of daredevil kind of wrestler, like Devil May Care, doing crazy shit just to try and pull the win out. Amazing stuff. He had a match on the Evolve show against Austin Theory, which he won with a sharpshooter after successfully avoiding a moonsault off the apron from Priscilla Kelly. Which she wiped out Austin Theory with, and then Haskins dragged him back into the ring, locked in the sharpshooter, and got the win. And then later in the night on the Progress show, Haskins was in a fatal four-way, again with Austin Theory and also featuring Mark Andrews and Keith Lee. That was a fun match. That was a fucking fun match.
Love it.
When Progress New York goes up on Demand Progress, I highly recommend that match. That was a ton of fun. Mark Haskins got the win there, again submitting Austin Theory with the sharpshooter. So Mark Haskins and Austin Theory are probably gonna come to blows anytime they're on a show in the future, because Austin Theory is not happy with Mark Haskins at all. But that's okay, because Austin Theory's a dick.
Yeah, he is.
Let's see, what else? Have you ever heard a meat tenderizer hitting a piece of pork?
Oh yeah.
You know that sick slap sound?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, like a side of ribs or like a tenderloin. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine that on a human being, because that's what it sounds like when Walter chops you in the chest.
Because Walter's a big, giant, angry German.
Walter is the scariest Austrian man I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
and every time that he chopped Matt Riddle in the chest during that Atlas Division Championship match as the main event of the Progress show, it sounded like a meat tenderizer hitting a piece of pork. It was sickening at some points. But Riddle, God, we love our bro. We do. He hulked up. He fought back. And like a boss, secured himself his second Atlas Division Championship reign. My God, that was fun. And also fun, the main event of the Evolve match, the Fatal 4-Way that featured Riddle, Walter, Hot Sauce Tracy Williams, and Keith Lee. Like I said, hoss fights.
You know it.
Keith Lee and Walter going head to head. Wow. An exhibition of beef unlike anything I have ever seen before.
It's what's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, my friend.
For 7 whole days.
I mean, you're here for that.
That was not just beef. That was the whole cow. My God, those two guys. And That's not to discount anything that Riddle and Williams were doing, because they were also excellent in that match. But my God, I love me that beef. Last couple of things. Donovan Dijak this weekend was his last weekend on the indie circuit. He had 4 consecutive shows between Saturday and Sunday. 3 consecutive shows, because he didn't actually wrestle on the Evolve 91, but he did wrestle in a number 1 contenders match for the Atlas Division Championship against Tim Thatcher on the Progress show. A lot of fun. Great to see Dijak live for one of his last indie shows before he heads off to NXT. Might be in the crowd tomorrow night in Brooklyn. Who knows? I made sure to get myself a farewell feast shirt before the end of the night, and it's ready and waiting for tomorrow. I'll explain why in a little bit. The last thing I'll talk about is the women's tag match that happened in the Progress show. Deonna Purrazzo and Ginny versus Dahlia Black and Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai, a lot of fun to see live. Great. I didn't get to meet her, unfortunately, or get a picture, but she was a ton of fun to watch. But the star of that match, and you're going to be shocked when I say this, the star of that match was Deonna Purrazzo. And
really,
yeah,
really,
like if you've only ever seen her in NXT, you would think of her as being a jobber to the stars. I've seen some of her stuff in Stardom, and I've seen some clips of her stuff from Women of Honor, and she definitely has some of the skills outside of that. This match was a great showcase for her of showing off a good portion of her arsenal. She didn't get to finish off with the Fujiwara armbar, which I really want to see her do live at some point. But she did get the win. She did get the pinfall on Dakota Kai off of a draping neckbreaker. So that was a surprise that neither of the Progress ladies factored into the decision. But in hindsight, it kind of makes some sense, given that Ginny and Dahlia Black do have kind of a ongoing feud brewing between the two of them. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that revisited down the line. But this was a great showcase for Deonna Purrazzo, and I really hope that whatever she ends up doing in the future, she starts to get more of a stage for herself. I talked to her during the intermission, and she said she's hoping to go back for another tour of Stardom at the beginning of 2018, and I wished her luck in that and hope that she gets a rematch against Io Shirai from her last tour, because that was a fun match. Deonna versus Io was a lot of fun to watch. Evolve in Progress, A+ for both shows. Both shows, fantastic. I didn't cover everything from both shows. There was some excellent tag team wrestling on the Evolve show and an amazing no DQ match on the Progress show I didn't even get to talk about, but both shows, A+. If you have Flow Slam, go queue up Evolve 91 as soon as the show is over. If you have Demand Progress, keep an eye out for when Progress New York gets posted to Demand Progress and watch it as soon as it goes up. And support your local indies.
Always support your local indies.
Yes. All right. Going to switch over to Japan. I'm going to do a 5-minute rundown of the Stardom 5-Star Grand Prix. That's
this
starting,
is your thing, man.
Yep, starting
Tonight?
this morning.
Tomorrow?
Yeah, tonight. This morning. It'll be starting August 19th.
So 6 hours from now or whatever?
Just about, yeah. For those who are not aware, the 5-Star Grand Prix is Stardom's answer for the G1. This is the 6th consecutive year that they are running it. Past winners include luminaries of Japanese wrestling like Nene Takahashi, Io Shirai, and Kairi Hojo. This year we have a field of 16 participants. In the red block, we have Hana Kimura, Hiromi Mimura, Kagetsu, Chris Wolf, Mayu Iwatani, Viper, Zaya Brookside, and Yoko Bito. In the blue block, we have Hazuki, Io Shirai, Jungle Kiona, Kaylee Ray, Konami, Mandy Leon, Tom Nakano, and Toni Storm. So, highlights to look forward to. We're going to have a rematch between Io Shirai and Toni Storm. I talked about the hellacious draw that they had earlier in the year, back in May, when they met for a World of Stardom title match. That was Io's 14th defense of the title, the last defense that she had before losing the title to Mayu Iwatani. That was an insane match, a half-hour draw, and not a moment of it was not enthralling. These two put on one hell of an exhibition in that match. Also, we're going to have Kaylee Ray versus Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray versus Toni Storm. Kaylee Ray was in last year's 5-star Grand Prix and is considered by many to be the MVP of her block. She only missed. She actually tied with block winner Yoko Bito in last year's Grand Prix and only lost. Only came in second due to tiebreakers. So Kaylee Ray is definitely going to have herself an amazing 5-star Grand Prix once again. The predictions that I'm going to make on this are going to be the tournament. It's not like the G1 where they're running like every single night for a couple of weeks. They do 2 shows every week, so wrestlers aren't going to get as run down. Actually, the week of the second week of September, they're only doing 1 show that week. So my predictions are similar to what a lot of other predictions are coming out as, which will be that the finals end up being Mayu Iwatani versus Io Shirai, and Io Shirai will win her second 5-star Grand Prix en route to a rematch for the World of Stardom title down the line.
All right.
So let's move on now to the G1.
G1.
Can we talk about the most important thing first of all?
Sure, by all means.
Daryl is back.
Yes. You know what? Raise
Daryl
your
lives
glass.
again.
Raise your glass. Daryl is back. My favorite part of the entire tournament was Naito, and I am wearing my Los Ingobernables de Japón shirt in solidarity with Mr. Naito. Fist bumping Daryl at the end when he was doing the roll call.
Good choice. Yeah, that was amazing. And Daryl coming back is a great sign because that means maybe Hiromu will start coming back to his old self again.
Yes.
He's shown a little bit of flashes here and there, and now that Daryl is back, hopefully this will lead to Hiromu regaining his spark and hopefully coming back for Mr. Belt as well.
Yes. Hopefully, because he needs his strap. He's just Mr. Belt needs to be back in his life. I don't know what Mr. Belt is doing off in the wilderness. I just know it. His life is not going to be anywhere near as fulfilling as it will be when it's back with Daryl and Takahashi.
Yeah, I mean, right now Mr. Belt is playing second fiddle to the ROH TV title in Kushida's possession.
No. Do you want my predictions for the rest of the year for the G1? For the rest of the year for New Japan?
Well, wait. First, we have to talk about the other big return. Katsuyori Shibata returning to the ring under his own power, telling the crowd, "I'm alive. That's all," and then leaving.
We talked about this. The biggest problem with New Japan is their disdain. I don't want to say disdain. It's their lack of empathy for performers' health. We saw it with Evil getting concussed and still finishing a match.
Yeah.
We've seen it over and over and over, right? We talked about Tanahashi, his arm.
Yeah.
Basically hanging there.
And also
Now, some of it is not on New Japan. Some of it's on the performers. But
there's also the lack of foresight about the imagery they're presenting, which we've talked about with the chair shots to Hiroki Goto in the past and whatnot.
It is a common refrain for athletes in all sports, and I'm including wrestlers, that they will say anything to go back out in the field, whether it is football players who are knocked silly or basketball players or hockey players who are hitting the boards or whatever. It is the job of the coaching staff and the promoter to protect these guys when they need to be protected. Mm-hmm. There was no excuse for what happened to Evil. There was no excuse for Tanahashi being out there. Yes, he was great in the G1, but he should have gotten the surgery. The company would have survived without him.
Yeah.
Kenny Omega talked about this, throwing stuff on people, throwing guys on their heads.
Yeah.
There's no place for that. You don't need that. That's a crutch. Just as hitting guys in the head with a crutch is. If you can get over without it, you don't need it.
Yeah. I mean, it's really just...
It's the one turd in the punch bowl for New Japan.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what else happened on this final show. I want to cover everything before we get to the actual
Shibata. That's
finals.
what I was talking about. Sorry, I don't want to see him wrestle ever again.
Yeah, no, me either.
Great. It was great when he went out there. The people were.
I don't know why he took a bump. I don't know why he friggin' went down and took a bump upon entering the ring. That was kind of
because he's deranged. Because he has been for years. I love Katsuyori Shibata.
I do
You
too.
know what I would love more than seeing him wrestle is him having a good quality of life for the next 30 years.
Yeah.
I don't need him in a wheelchair. I don't need him in a grave. This business will spit you out. It will chew you up and spit you out if you're not careful. And
Yeah.
I would rather he be careful and cautious and be able to dance at his daughter's wedding down the line than not.
Yeah. Katsuyori Shibata, coach at the New Japan Dojo. That's a career that I would love to hear about. That would be something I would be ecstatic to hear about. Katsuhiro Shibata returning for Wrestle Kingdom 12 to challenge for the never openweight title is not something I would be ever thrilled to hear.
Not at all. And it was awesome. And he's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. But
yeah, mine too.
I don't want to see him wrestle again. He's not fit. He's not fit physically, and he's not fit mentally to be doing this.
Exactly.
So,
junior heavyweight tag match. That was a hell of a match.
The Bucks acting like the Midnight Express and going all old school. How cool was that?
Yeah. And
how cool were the Bucks basically cutting the ring off and wrestling like the Revival.
Yeah, and fucking a Ricochet match that didn't feature some insane flippy shit. He had to end the match, instead of with a 630, he had to end the match with a regular shooting star press, which for Ricochet is basically like a headlock.
Exactly. It's super easy. That's nothing.
That was incredible. That was incredible to watch.
It was great. And I liked that match a lot because it was different than the usual Young Bucks spot fest shit we get.
Yeah,
it was the Young Bucks saying, you know what, we can do this tag team shit, okay?
Mm-hmm.
When we want to. Remember, we talked about this. They play the hits. People pop for the Meltzer driver and the super kicks, and the Too Sweet and the Bullet Club shirts, and it makes them a lot of money, and God bless them. God bless them. But every now and again, they channel the fact that they're actually pretty good at this professional wrestling gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
And they do stuff like they tone down the shtick, tone down the comedy, and turn up the seriousness. I talked about before. My favorite Young Bucks match of all time was a house show match versus the Briscoes.
Mm-hmm.
300 people saw this match because they weren't trying to sell anything, and it was Nick Jackson facing Peril for 15 minutes. This was Ricochet. This was Ricochet facing Peril for 15 minutes. And you know what? I've said this before, but I have been watching professional wrestling on and off for 25 years. In those 25 years, I will pop for a hot tag every single time it happens. Right? Who doesn't love a hot tag?
Yeah, really.
And who doesn't get pissed? Like, you know what always pisses me off? Always aggravates my Mark Lizard brain when the dumbass ref doesn't see the hot tag and he forces the guy out of the ring and he brings the beat up guy back in the ring because he didn't see the tag because he was distracted.
Yeah, that is the worst.
I hate you, ref. I hate you. I'm pounding my desk in anger. But you know what? No matter how many times, wrestling isn't difficult. Wrestling's not hard.
Yeah.
The little stuff matters, man. Tell me, I'm such a sucker, Chris. Tell me a good story. Ricochet selling the leg and Taguchi selling concern is a good story.
Yeah. And then
that's all I needed.
The post-match, the weird dichotomy of the post-match celebration of Ricochet having to be carried off by the Young Lions and Taguchi fucking dancing in the ring. I love Ryusuke Taguchi. He is a gem of a man. But holy God, that was funny as shit. Oh my God. We also had a heavyweight tag team match, which I really didn't care about because it was fucking Cody Rhodes and Hangman Page versus War Machine. I only care about 3 of those 4 guys, and the 4th guy, Cody Rhodes, is enough to bring the match down to the point where I just can't possibly give a shit about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the post-match of it is where it got interesting. Because my boys, Gorillas of Destiny,
your boys, you're the
come down to the ring.
Fan. Well, you and Tanya, but I think you and Tanya have different reasons for being a fan of Tama Tonga.
Yeah.
I think her reasons of being a fan are a little different than yours, but hey.
Possibly a little bit. You know what?
Yeah, just a little, but he's a fine-looking gentleman, I will say that.
Yes, he is. But
he's also one of the few Pacific Islanders to have a six-pack.
Yes, this is also very true.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Go on.
That's fine. That's fine. This is an interesting moment here because, I mean, the whole story of the G1 has been Tama Tonga being all sorts of pissed off at Kenny Omega and being the whole fuck the elite thing and all that stuff.
The OG Bullet Club and all that, yeah.
But now that his brother is back, now that Tangaroa is back and they can focus on being a tag team, they have their priorities elsewhere. And Guerrillas of Destiny come to the ring, take the microphones, and say to War Machine, those titles look really good on us. Those titles belong to God, which is the same thing that they said to the Briscoes last year after attacking the Briscoes. After the Briscoes had a tag team title match against the Young Bucks, Guerrillas of Destiny attacked the Briscoes and said the same thing to them. Those titles belong to God. And you think we're going to come to a confrontation. Ray Rowe grabs the mic and says, "You want another shot at these titles?" And it's looking like we're going to get ourselves another great tag team match between the Guerrillas and War Machine. And then the fucking Killer Elite Squad shows up. I am not a fan of the Killer Elite Squad.
I can tell.
Lance Archer and Davey Boy Smith do absolutely nothing for me. Like, I'm all in favor of big dudes hossing it up and just laying little guys out. But those two guys just do fucking nothing for me. They come to the ring, they wreck both the Guerrillas and War Machine, they pose with the belts, yada yada yada, whatever. and then the next day, the Guerrillas are both sniping at Killer Elite Squad on Twitter, and Lance Archer's firing back, and I get into a little bit of a Twitter beef with Lance Archer.
Oh my God, you've made it!
I don't know if that means if I'm now in the big time or if Lance Archer is just that small time.
We're big time.
Yeah,
we've it. We're it. I mean, for fuck's sake, man! If Dave Meltzer and a combat veteran can get Baron Corbin's push derailed, you can tweak Lance Archer.
Oh, I tweaked him. I tweaked him hard. So we had ourselves a little bit of a Twitter fight, and Tangaroa liked a couple of my tweets. It was pretty cool. So that was that.
Nice.
So we're gonna inevitably end up with a tag team title triple threat match, and I really hope the Killer Elite Squad does not win that match. I don't care who wins as long as Killer Elite Squad loses. Because I like War Machine, I like the Guerrillas. I'm fine with either one of them holding the IWGP Tag Team Championships. Killer Elite Squad, go the fuck home. I said it before, Zack Sabre Jr. submitted Tanahashi again in a six-man. So this is the second time he submitted Tanahashi. We can count on a IC title match happening either at King of Pro Wrestling or at Destruction. Probably Destruction, because Destruction is the next event. Or they might actually push Sabres to King of Pro Wrestling and give Ibushi his title shot first at Destruction. I don't know. It's up in the air right now. But either way, somebody's getting the IC title off Tanahashi. It seems inevitable right now. I don't think that they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna keep it on him because I think that they know he needs a break. So, and then the finals. Talk to me about these finals. These finals were fucking fantastic.
Yeah, this match was our good friend Videns, R.I.P. Skypoint. Yes, I know he's not dead. So this was his match of the year so far, and this is he watches the supercomputer watches more wrestling than all of us put together.
Yeah,
and B, he has a very strict and very high level of standard of excellence. So for him to say that is high praise, and I can't argue with it. I think I liked Okada Omega a scooch more, a hair more, a smidge more, but I won't argue with you if you like this one more. This match was great. Naito as the babyface face in peril is the best thing in the world.
Oh, it was fantastic.
How about the crowd chanting his name to his music?
That was beautiful. I love every time they do that. It never gets old.
Yep. There's his song Rock, Stardust Genius is the best. But them chanting, clapping along Naito, not 10,000 people chanting that is just... Or how about big man Kenny Omega versus little man Naito? How about Naito is the babyface in peril. Like I said before, this match was great. This match was so good.
How about the pre-match when they're announcing Kenny and he goes and does the gunpoint things to Naito's head, and Naito just turns around and leans into it? I fucking lost.
My only regret to this match is that I fucked up, Brother Chris, and I watched it in English. So I had to listen to Rocky Romero screaming at the top of his lungs over and over again.
And fucking Don Callis with Kenny Omega's dick in his mouth the whole
Not
time.
even that.
I couldn't.
You know what, Don
I wasn't
Callis?
going to watch it. I couldn't watch it in English.
And I didn't want to stop and restart it because I was in the flow of it. So I turned off the sound. To be honest, on my computer, I'm just like, you know what? I was watching on mute, which was also bad. But Don Callis, I don't need 600 insider terms like it's 1997. Anybody watching New Japan on English is a wrestling insider. By definition, there are no casual fans at 6 in the morning on a Sunday watching New Japan in English. We're all insiders. We all get it. You don't need to be talking about star ratings. It takes you out of the flow of the match.
Yeah. Back to positives, though.
Question for you.
I need to talk about.
Oh, go on.
I need to go back and like that moment at the beginning of the match. Like I can't say enough good things about that. That moment for me of Naito leaning into the gunpoint.
Yep.
Even for me, for the moment from Wrestle Kingdom 10 where Nakamura grabs AJ Styles' bullet out of the air and eats it. Naito leaning into the gunpoint was even better than that for me.
I think they both suit their characters perfectly. Nakamura as the wacky, charismatic dude, and Naito as the nonplussed, whatever. Like nothing you can do bothers me. You can't get in my head. I'm tranquilo. How about when he goes for the pose and Kenny turns around and then he just jumps on him?
Yes. It's beautiful.
Serious question time. Is Naito the best wrestler with the worst looking finisher? That finisher is so weak. It's like attitude adjustment level weak. I mean, he makes it work.
I don't know about that. I actually kind of like it. I mean, it's got. I think the thing about it that probably is what pulls people out of it is that just the amount of setup that goes into it. That's the real thing. Like he needs to like put one arm behind the back and then set the other arm and then step forward and fly up and over and all that stuff. It's like the amount of setup that goes into what is essentially just an inverted neck breaker is it is a little bit much. But I mean, you know what? It works for Naito. I will say that it works for the kind of.
How about him breaking out the Phoenix Splash from 2013?
Oh yeah,
or the Falcon Arrow. Not the Falcon Arrow, the Phoenix Splash. Yeah.
Yeah. That was fantastic.
Question for you. Another question. I'm full of questions today. Yeah. Very Socratic. This is very
you said you had a question for me that
I do.
I don't know if you.
I do, but this is not the question. But we'll get to the question. That's the WWE question. This is an easier question. Who is your MVP of the G1, and what is your best match?
Are we excluding the finals from this?
No. I have
then it's the finals.
The finals, okay.
The finals are my best match, and the finals are definitely in my top 3 for match of the year.
Okay,
without a doubt, right now. MVP of the G1 is really tough to say. Like, and this is solely because, like, everybody said going into it that A block is fucking stacked. It's going to have such amazing matches. And then it wound up being that so many of the matches in B block just easily outshone what was going on in A block because of the fact that Tanahashi just wasn't his full self. And, I mean, there were so many matchups in that on paper look like they could be great, but then in execution just end up being kind of eh. A block had its stars for sure, but there were definitely some guys in that A block who were also just kind of like just there. MVP for me is a tie.
Ooh.
It's a tie between Juice and Okada.
Okay.
Like Juice's matches had the most investment for me. Every match that I watched that featured Juice Robinson, I was sucked into and paying full attention to because he just has that vibe to him that just makes you want to watch because any moment could be an amazing moment. And on the flip side of that, Okada. I mean, we've talked about what a maestro Okada is. Can't say it enough. Okada is, like him or not, and I know that there are plenty of people out there who don't like him and find flaws in what he does, but Okada is a fucking maestro and knows how to wrestle so many different types of matches and knows how to execute against so many different types of opponents and make things work. Tell a good story.
He is the Swiss Army knife of wrestlers in New Japan. Let me give you mine real quick. I have Okada's my MVP, but I want to talk about two other guys before. I want to spotlight two guys. My favorite match of the tournament was either Okada Omega or Okada Kojima, which I talked about.
Yes.
I loved Okada. I loved it. I loved it so much. It will not be on my ballot for best match of the year because it was not the best match of the year. But if there is a ballot for George's favorite matches of the year, that's probably number 2 behind Goldberg Lesnar. Goldberg Lesnar may be my favorite match in 5 years. It was just it was everything I loved in professional wrestling, but it was not the best match of the year. When I submit my ballot to Dave in December, and we're gonna do a show about that, by the way. We're gonna hash out the ballot, and we'll submit a show ballot. By the way, I'm calling it audible. We'll submit a 2 guys 1 sport show ballot, but the ballot calls for best match of the year, not favorite. So unfortunately to Okada Kojima, that's not going to be on the ballot, but it is my favorite match of the G1. We talked about Okada real quick. Only Juice and Sonata had their best matches with someone other than Okada. In the entire block. Juice had his best match with Omega, and I think Sonata I can't remember who he had his best match with, but probably with Omega too.
No, Sonata Omega was not actually a great match for me. Sonata Suzuki was the match that I was.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
You're right.
Sonata Suzuki was that match for me.
2 guys I want to talk about
that was insane.
Tournaments that we have not talked about. One, Yuji Nagata.
Yes.
What a send off to the old man.
I'm looking at there's a poster right now because they're having an event for the 25th anniversary of his debut in New Japan, October 21st, and there is a poster that features like 20 different images of Yuji Nagata doing different things in the ring right now. It is so glorious. I have to send this to you. Hang on. I'm going to send this to you.
Two great matches in A block. Nagata Ishii and Nagata Tanahashi. They were unbelievable. He worked a very smart style, which let him hang with and outshine some of the best wrestlers in the world.
Even in losses.
Especially in losses. He had 1 win. And another guy I thought had an exceptional tournament that we have not talked about is Tomohiro Ishii.
Oh, yes.
If he retires without winning the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, it's going to be a travesty.
It is.
He's super over. He wrestles super smart. We talk about Omega spiking his head on the canvas every other match. Well, you look at Ishii, he wrestled a pretty grounded, pretty safe style, but it looked brutal. But he still had good matches.
He knows how to make those violent spots look violent without actually being violent. Like, everybody talks about, oh my God, if I see one more Ishii headbutt, I'm going to throw up or something like that. Ishii does not headbutt.
No.
Ishii just makes it look like he's headbutting, but oh my God, it looks like he's fucking destroying his skull.
As opposed to Shibata, who actually destroyed his skull. But those I wanted to highlight. I made notes. I made show notes that said talk about Nagata, talk about Ishii. Yeah. Especially Nagata, and to a lesser extent Kojima, who I've praised before. But those the 2 old guys had great tournaments.
Adam, good call there. That moment between Fale and Nagata at the end of that match, beautiful. And also the next night when Guerrillas had a tag match against Nagata and Manabu Nakanishi, and they both bowed to Nagata and gave him the salute after the match. After beating Nagata and Nakanishi, and Nagata's in the ring, like they're carrying Nakanishi off, and Nagata's in the ring, and he's like expecting an attack from the Guerrillas, and instead they just bow to him and give him the salute. It's like, my God.
We talk about wrestling through the ages, and it's the old guys who are falling by the wayside. The kind of that connective tissue from the earlier New Japan days. So
beautiful.
It was good, and Nagata. And the Fun G1, I still have to watch a few matches. I have not yet seen Okada Suzuki, the draw. I'm told it's unbelievable. I have
I have to watch that one too.
I have not seen Sonata and Suzuki, which you mentioned.
That's a great match. You should definitely watch that.
There's a few Kojima matches I'm missing. There's a few Tanahashi matches I'm missing. I'm about 70% of the way done. This weekend, I'm going to try and catch up, especially on Sunday. So we'll see.
I have to try and do some catch up as well.
Chris.
Yeah. But
Tell
you were
the
gonna talk about your predictions. Your predictions for the rest of the year.
Yes. Real quick.
Yeah, I want to hear that.
Okay. Let's see. Where are we? Okada will beat Evil at Destruction in Hiroshima. Not super groundbreaking.
Yeah, but they're gonna have a hell of a match. Their previous matches have been hellacious.
Okada will kick out of the One-Winged Angel and beat Omega at King of Pro Wrestling to retain the title.
Reasonable.
Naito will beat Okada in the main event of Wrestle Kingdom.
Absolutely. Guaranteed.
The semi-main will be Ibushi over Omega for the United States title.
I don't believe that.
Okay.
I'm differing with you on that one because I still am of the belief Bullet Club breakup is going to continue to be a thing. It's just going to be in the background for a little bit. But I think
we get the breakup the next night at New Year's Dash, like we did with Styles.
No, so
I think
here's what I predict.
I think we're getting the exact same storyline we got with AJ in 2016.
See,
the big one, kick him out of the Bullet Club, etc., etc.
No, what I'm predicting. Here's what I'm predicting. I'm predicting Bullet Club Civil War. After Okada kicks out of the One-Winged Angel at King of Pro Wrestling and then beats Omega, after the match, they go to have a show of respect between the two of them. Cody Rhodes and the Guerrillas are going to rush the ring and start kicking the shit out of Kenny, and then we're going to get Bullet Club Civil War leading up to a match
Rock Hogan right there from WrestleMania 2000, from WrestleMania 18.
I'm predicting a match for the United States title between Kenny Omega and Cody Rhodes at Wrestle Kingdom 12.
Okay.
And with the subtitle caveat that leadership of the Bullet Club is also on the line, but I am predicting that Kenny will win that match. I believe that I do not believe that Kenny Omega's days of leading the Bullet Club are over. I believe that that match is going to be a moment where Kenny is going to, after the match, make a statement and say, "Hey, yeah, I do the elite as well, but I'm Bullet Club through and through." And Bullet Club is going to be a force to be reckoned with, no matter who's in the lead. But I'm still in the lead, so fall in line or get the fuck out. Something to that effect.
I like it.
I think we're going to be like from King of Pro Wrestling to Wrestle Kingdom. I believe we're going to be getting serious, no nonsense Kenny Omega, and like it's just going to be a great moment because I think they need to do that for Bullet Club because we talked earlier on in the year about how like a lot of Bullet Club has devolved into like the dumb, comedy bullshit stuff where they're just doing silly spots a lot of the time, and it's they're not really being taken seriously. They're just going for the whole bit of popping the crowd, like Kevin Owens does. And that's what Bullet Club has devolved into. I think they need to do something like this in order to remind the crowd of what Bullet Club once was, what their origins were, and kind of bring them back to that. Because as long as if they don't do that, then the crowd is just going to continue to expect that kind of nonsense stuff from Bullet Club, and they're eventually just going to not be taken seriously anymore. And people are only going to start caring about Kenny Omega and the Bucks, and that'll be it. So that's where I differ with you, but the rest of that stuff, I'm 100% with you on that. The Naito beating Okada at Wrestle Kingdom, especially, it's his time. This is going to be his moment of vindication after, what was it, 4 years ago at Wrestle Kingdom when he won the G1 and then didn't have the main event. I forget if it was.
Yes, 2013 G1, 2014 Wrestle Kingdom, which I believe was Tanahashi over Okada.
Yeah.
Again.
Mm-hmm. Right. So.
No, the IC was the main event.
Yeah, it was Tanahashi Nakamura.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tanahashi Nakamura.
because they had such little confidence in Naito, and deservedly so.
At that point in time, yes, deservedly so. But yeah, like I think this is going to be the vindication 4 years in the making. Yeah, that's New Japan right now. That's all. They got a lot of good stuff going on.
Chris, what are you doing tomorrow night?
Well, as fortune would have it, I'm going to be at Takeover Brooklyn live.
Oh.
Fortunate circumstances, unfortunate circumstances for the person who I acquired the tickets from, but fortunate for me, I will be there. It'll be up in the cheap seats. Probably have part of my view of the ring obstructed by the Tron, but whatever. I'll be there. So
that's awesome.
It'll be a fun time.
I actually will not be watching. I made a commitment a while ago. I have to I'm volunteering at my church's festival.
That's all right. You're not the only one.
I thought it was next week, but it is this week. But whatever. I told my uncle I always work the grill with my uncles. And,
nice.
Yeah, it's awesome. So I do. I haven't done that for about 6-7 hours. It's a lot of fun. You know, it's my one good deed for the year, brother Chris. So I will catch this show probably that night or early the next morning, because Sunday I'm pretty open. I got to do laundry and shit, so I may just watch it at the laundromat. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
The miracle of the network means I can just watch it on my phone.
Yeah, and I mean, I've said, actually, our friends over at Not Your Demographic asked for some thoughts and bold takes show that they did earlier this week, which was their 2-year anniversary show. Happy anniversary, by the way, to Stella and Aaron. Glad that you have made it this far. Here's to 2 more years of greatness. We love your show.
It's 10 more years of greatness.
Yeah, 10 more years. We'll take that. As much greatness as you are willing to provide. They asked for some bold takes on Twitter to talk about on their show, and I submitted mine, which is that this year's TakeOver Brooklyn card and SummerSlam card are both kind of lackluster.
You know,
TakeOver still outshines SummerSlam by a lot, but they're both pretty bad right now.
All we heard all spring, they're saving their energy for SummerSlam. They're saving their creative juices for SummerSlam.
Yeah, where is this?
They're saving. Well, other than the Raw main event, and other than Tozawa Neville, which they blew on Raw, great match by the way. Other than the New Day Usos, is there anything on this main card that interests you?
Not really.
13 matches. 13 matches. I named 3 matches. 2 of those matches are pre-show matches.
Yep.
1 is the main event, which means from 6 o'clock in the afternoon Central Time to 9:30 in the evening Central Time, this show will not be interesting. This is a 4-hour show, brother Chris. 2-hour pre-show. Show starts at 6 p.m. Central. Show ends at 10 p.m. or later Central.
Yeah. Sorry, Matt. I know you love Sasha, and I know you're excited for Sasha Alexa. I can't get into it. I'm sorry. No, Marcel. I don't think SummerSlam is stronger than TakeOver. I think TakeOver will have the better quality of matches. I think that the matches will be more interesting. But
the match I'm most interested in is the main event of SummerSlam. I'm assuming the Raw match is the main event.
Yeah, I mean it has to be. If they have Nakamura Mahal main event SummerSlam, they're trying to bankrupt themselves.
Like if you ranked all the matches from 1 to 20 between TakeOver and SummerSlam of that I am interested in, the Raw match is number 1 far and away, and then the next 4 are TakeOver matches, and then maybe the next one after that is a SummerSlam match.
Yeah.
SmackDown's kind of a disaster right now in terms of what's going on. By the way, can we have a moment of silence? Not really, because we're a podcast, and that would be weird. For Baron Corbin's career.
No, but we can have a lot of laughs about Baron Corbin's career because he's fucking done.
You know what? The Baron. I don't know if this started because you were a joke on Twitter to Uncle Dave and to a combat veteran. I don't know. I don't think so. Dave doesn't think so either, for the record. But you know what? This all started because you were vanity searching your name on Twitter.
Yeah.
Baron, instead of vanity searching on Twitter, maybe work on your moveset. Maybe get some hair extensions. Maybe hit the gym. Maybe learn how to cut a promo. Like this isn't difficult.
Any of the above.
Yeah.
And all of the above.
Any and all. Less time on Twitter, like you're one of us, and more time furthering your career.
Yeah, somebody made a joke on Twitter saying And you can always expect that Suzuki Gun will have a new, or Bullet Club will have a new young boy soon. And I replied to that saying, or we can expect that LAX will have a new enforcer soon.
Yes.
On Impact.
Exactly. Like,
That's
this
what I'm
Baron
hoping
Corbin
for.
thing is just...
Fucking pull the plug.
He doesn't do anything well unless he's paired with a great worker, like Kalisto or Austin Aries.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you saw him versus Dean Ambrose at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
How'd that turn out for you?
I
mean, like, what am I missing here, man?
Yeah, Tanya, you're right. The Raw side of the card should just be the whole show. I mean,
Raw side of the card's incredible. Other than the Hardys and Jordan, which Jason Jordan, good God, that's just another disaster in the making.
No, Lord, why did they ever think that breaking the tag teams was a good idea?
Alexa Sasha's good. Big show, big cast, whatever, good filler. Finn Balor versus the Demon Wyatt or whatever the hell, like, just...
I don't care about that. Cesaro, Sheamus versus Ambrose and Rollins, that'll be fun.
Yeah, that'll be good.
That Raw tag match will be good, yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
So what match are you most looking forward to?
Of the weekend?
Yeah.
Or of the weekend, Ember Moon versus Asuka.
Okay. You know how I feel about Ember Moon, so let's talk about Ember Moon.
I know. Yeah. I've seen this match before in Shimmer. It was violent as fuck. These two have amazing chemistry together. They are both far and away some of the best workers, regardless of gender, in the whole company. I know you're not a fan of Ember's promo work, but I think that she's getting a lot better, and I liked the promo she cut this week during the contract signing. I thought she did a great job there. And Asuka is Asuka. Asuka's a force of nature. But tomorrow night, the force of nature is going to be beaten back by the Moon.
I am not a fan of anything Ember Moon does that doesn't involve actually wrestling. Thankfully, this involves lots of actually wrestling, so it should be pretty fucking great.
Yeah. I mean, this is going to be a very interesting match for Asuka because, I mean, we all know Asuka the ass kicker.
Yep.
And she's able to do that regardless of alignment. But because of the way the WWE does things, we're going to have to see Asuka being chicken shit a couple of times during this match as well. We're probably going to see some dumbass ref spots. We're probably going to see Asuka trying to land some cheap shots or some illegal shots at certain points. And that's gonna be interesting to see how they reconcile that, because the only other time I've ever seen Asuka doing that stuff is when she wears the fucking corpse paint and is like scary horror movie Asuka that we've only ever seen on the indies. You've never seen that in NXT.
Mm-mm.
You've never seen when Asuka comes out in the fucking corpse paint and the clown mask.
Nope.
It's terrifying.
Here for that.
It's terrifying.
Here for that.
Yeah. Second match that I'm looking forward to, and the match I'm looking forward to most on the SummerSlam card, is, as Tanya said, beef on beef on beef on beef.
Oh, yeah.
That main event is going to be spectacular.
I can't wait.
I can't wait for that. You know, I had initially said I didn't want, and, you know, I hate when I do this, and I'm trying to stop myself from doing this. I had initially said I didn't want Roman to win because I knew that the Brooklyn crowd would just boo the shit out of him. But you know what?
Why do you let the crowd dictate your performance, your enjoyment of a match?
Exactly.
Like, what do you care?
Here's the other thing, too.
What do you care if fat neckbeards in I'm a Hugger t-shirt are booing Roman Reigns?
And here's the other thing,
or cheering Roman Reigns, for that matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. And here's the other thing, too. Here's the other thing that really that really turned me around. If you have read the interview that he did with Sports Illustrated, or the transcription of some podcasts that he's done, he's talked about his role as the locker room leader, specifically in a couple of instances relating to the whole incident with him kicking Enzo off the bus. And after reading, I forget what it was from. I'm going to have to pull this up because there was a transcription. I think it was from a podcast that he did. Natural, off-the-cuff ability of Roman to just speak in ways that would enthrall the crowd if they would ever bother to fucking pay attention to him. Is amazing. Where is it? Here it is. Yeah, he's talking about his role as the locker room leader and references that line from Game of Thrones. It says, "I swing the sword." He's on the Off the Board podcast with Jimmy Traina, and Jimmy brought up the incident with Enzo. I'm gonna read a couple of sentences of this and tell me this isn't like one of the best things you've ever heard from Roman Reigns. I swing the sword. If I put the sentence down, then I lay it down. If you have heat, that's what a locker room leader does. He speaks up for the rest of the bunch. It's tough when you have so many cooks in the kitchen. I'm not the only guy who would speak up. But as the man that I am before I was in this business, I would have spoken up if something was wrong. To what I am today within our industry, I am a locker room leader. I'd like to think I've been afforded the keys to the car and I drive that thing around every once in a while, but I'm going to take care of it. I said this a long time ago, and it's funny because I said it to CM Punk, but my whole goal is to leave this place better than I found it. I meant that. And then the end of this is amazing. He goes on to talk about how the business runs in his veins. If you cut my arm, it's WWE that will leak out of that. I was fed since I can remember from my dad. And if my dad wasn't there, then another man in our family stepped up, and he was most likely making the money through this business. The bottom line is it's fed me my entire life. I don't care who you are. You will not disrespect it. Not in front of me, not today, not any day that I am alive.
Sweet. That's
Roman fucking Reigns.
Living the gimmick.
Yeah.
Living the gimmick. Here for that. But you know, you talk a lot about, oh, I'm gonna be mad because of the crowd. Man, I know you run hot. You gotta be tranquilo.
Yeah, no, I'm
be tranquilo, man.
I'm easing off with that.
Gimmick, but a way of life.
I'm easing off with it. I promise.
Don't let the fat neckbeards bother you, man.
Yeah. So
great.
Yeah.
That match should be awesome. The other 5.5 hours of this show could be very intermittent.
It's gonna be weird. Let's run through the takeover card. Give some predictions.
Let's go real quick. Lightning round.
Gargano Almas.
Gargano. Should be good though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it'll be a good match.
Of these 5 matches, the only one that I'm not excited for is the tag match. Their 4 matches should be at worst good.
Black Tommy.
Oh, Black's gonna win.
Yeah.
Should be good though.
Absolutely, yeah.
Tag match. Office of Pain versus Sanity.
Office.
Yeah. I'm
thinking Sanity might get a call up.
I'm done with Sanity.
Sanity might get a call up.
Okay, whatever. But then what do you do with the authors?
They face whoever wins the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, which should be Red Dragon.
Sure. Okay, that works.
Asuka Ember.
Ember, unfortunately. I've really enjoyed this Asuka reign, but it's time to go. It's time to move on.
Very fortunately, because it's time for the moon to rise.
I would have been all in on not anyone else, but many other people, because I would have been cool with one of the icons, but they were buried 6 feet under at San Antonio.
Yeah, that was. Well, that's the thing. They need Ember to win the title to revitalize the division.
Exactly.
Because Ember's the only they told the story. They told the story perfectly because everybody else got fucking buried by Asuka along the way. Ember's the only one that she had to take shortcuts against. Ember was right in that, and that was honestly a perfect build. Like I hated it at the time that she got held out of the Chicago match, but now it really makes sense and it really fucking works. And I mean, I should have seen it coming because she is now the longest reigning champion of the modern era. Officially, she's beaten every record of the modern era at this point. So it's we should have known. Yeah, hashtag history was going to come into this. We should have known. We should have seen it coming. But whatever.
I've enjoyed Asuka. I think I will enjoy her more when she loses and chases for a little bit.
Yeah.
So, Bobby Roode versus Drew McIntyre. I am bummed it's not Bobby Roode versus Roddy Strong.
Yeah.
As
Well,
Drew,
I'm not as much.
As Drew McIntyre, bland babyface does nothing for me. I was hoping it'd be a 3-way last minute, but whatever. Drew's gonna win.
I was hoping it was a 3-way as well, but yeah, Drew has to win this.
Yeah, I hope so because again, the division stagnated with the champion at top.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that Drew winning and then Bobby Roode getting kicked out of NXT by Roddy Strong is the right way to go about this. Have the takeover match be Roode versus Strong, and a loser leaves NXT, and have Roode get kicked out of NXT without ever having a chance to get his title back.
Sure,
that would be an awesome.
Because it's time for him to go to the main roster. He's 40.
Yeah, send him to the main roster with a chip on his shoulder.
Exactly. He doesn't have a lot of time left.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Why not send him to the main roster as a face? That is over anyways.
Yeah, but you know how it is.
I do.
People ironically cheer heels.
I do.
It's bullshit.
I do.
But, yeah.
We talked about this. It's 2017. We elected a president because of irony.
Yeah.
Like.
No, thankfully, hopefully, we'll be on his way out soon. Hopefully.
SummerSlam. But yeah, we talk about ironically doing shit. That's what happens in America, regardless of wrestling and otherwise. You know. But then again, I've always cheered for Ric Flair and get well soon, Nature Boy.
Yes, get well soon, Nature Boy. SummerSlam pre-show: Akira Tozawa versus Neville for the cruiserweight title.
I would be shocked if Neville gets the belt back.
Yeah, me too. Tozawa's got to retain.
Mm-hmm.
Tozawa has to retain here because now another division killer, Neville.
Yep,
he's gotten over everybody until Tozawa.
Yep.
And they need to
These
change it up.
Division killers are strange. I don't get it. I don't understand it, my friend.
Yeah. New Day Usos.
I hope the Usos win, but I don't think they're going to.
Yeah, same.
I like what? I want to talk about the Usos for a minute. I like the Usos. I'm allowed to like the Usos, right? I think they're doing good work.
Yeah, I love the Usos right now. They're doing amazing work.
I like their gimmick. I like that they're fat. It suits them. That they're thick, rugged brawlers. I like their gear. I like that they're still super athletic when they need to be. I like that they break out the cool Tequila Sunrise submission move. I love their promos. It's not paranoia. It's cocaine / the Usos. I think they're doing the best work of their career, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. They're light years better now than we're as boring babyface when I say ooh, you say oh.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like them as street fighters.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, the thing that everybody forgets is that the Usos came in as heels with Tamina as like their backup or whatever you want to call it, and then they put on the face paint and turned face, and like all the kids loved them, and I mean that served its purpose.
Cool. Nothing wrong with that.
But then they stagnated. But now with this heel run, amazing. This is the best work of their career.
Oh yeah,
without a doubt. The fucking gangster killers. I love it. More of that.
Here for that. They're doing great work. I hope they win. They're not going to, but I hope they do.
Yeah. Maybe down the line they'll get it back. We'll see.
The Hardys, who may or may not be woken.
Hardys and Jason Jordan versus Miz and the Miz Taraj. I don't fucking care. I hope the faces win.
This is my run to the Thai place and get some Penang curry match.
This is my start the pot of spaghetti match.
Yep, my run to the Thai place and get some Penang curry is gonna be during this match. I've already decided.
Penang curry sounds awesome.
It's so good.
All right. Down now to Cesaro and Sheamus versus Ambrose and Rollins.
Love this feud.
It's got to be the Shield. It's got to be the Shield winning here.
Are you sure?
They can't not.
For the straps in their first match?
Yeah.
Why?
You have to take advantage of the fact that the crowd lost its fucking mind more than they have for anything since
you know what? And we get WWE shit, but they built that perfectly.
I said this in the chat on Wednesday Night Shooting. While Tanya and Andrew were talking about this. The crowd popping for that fist bump between Ambrose and Rollins was the loudest I have heard since Bayley showed up at Battleground last year.
Yeah.
Over 13 months now. This is the loudest the crowd has ever been for anything.
I would say the only thing louder was when Goldberg squashed Lesnar. But that's still 9 months ago or whatever it was at SummerSlam.
Even that, I don't think was as loud as this. Like, the entire arena was on its feet. Everybody wanted this. And honestly, it has been built so nice. has been built so well. They did such a good job. I mean, the crowd is gonna want a moment like this. They're gonna want a feel good moment like this because it's WWE and everybody's probably going into this thinking that they're gonna hate every single result of every single match. You have to give them something. Why not give them the thing that they are the most excited for?
Why you would go to a show and spend your money if you're just gonna go in pissy?
Like, it's been drilled into us. It's been drilled into us at this point. It's fucking stupid.
I don't get it.
It's been drilled into us.
Like, you're going because it's free, like, but you're not gonna go in pissy. And,
well, I mean, for Takeover, I would never go in pissy because Takeover is gonna Takeover tells sensible stories and has sensible results to matches. There's only been a handful of Takeover matches in the entirety of the time that I've been watching since I came into wrestling back in the fall of 2014. There's only been a handful of Takeover matches that I've watched and been like, "What the fuck was that?" And been upset about.
In terms of booking or in terms of result?
Both.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I think the AOP were booked too strong in the elimination match.
I don't mind that. I didn't mind that, but I know a lot of people
got a little over the top with the long submissions and the trading finishers, and I think a little. But I mean, that's kind of nitpicky.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of other Takeover matches.
But yeah, Tanya, you said it right. There's no point to Ambrose and Rollins losing. If they're unstoppable together, then why would they lose to a team that, you know, it took Sheamus and Cesaro double teaming those guys individually.
Hey, I hope
the advantage. And once Ambrose and Rollins came together, they have never been left laying.
I've been watching this shit for too long, man. It's strong heel territory, Don Sal.
Yes, it is a strong heel
territory. That's all I'm saying. I'd love it. I'd love it if they win.
Mm-hmm.
With Seth Rollins and his knockoff V-trigger.
I'm hoping.
By the way, you know what? Seth Rollins, New Japan Pro Wrestling move stealer is my favorite stupid game.
I know. I know how much you love it.
I love it so much. I pop for the V-trigger. I pop for the sling blade. I just love it.
Hey, you know what?
And frog splash.
And he got his just desserts when Kushida took God's last gift.
Yeah, he did.
You know what? It's all good now.
Everybody's screwing everybody. It's one big ancestral wrestling family.
Yep. Cena Corbin. I really hope Cena wins.
You know what? This is the you know, you hear the phrase the irresistible force versus the immovable object. This is the resistible force versus the movable object. Because on the one hand, you have Baron Corbin, who was just ethered to shit. But on the other hand, you have John Cena, SummerSlam jobber.
Yeah, I think he breaks his losing streak this year. I think Cena was gonna.
If this match was anything other than 8 minutes of Cena just demolishing Corbin, and you were not watching that at the time, there was a match with Shawn Michaels and Triple H versus the Spirit Squad, and after the Spirit Squad lost to Michaels and Triple H, they literally put them in a dumpster, put a tape on it that said "to OVW" and pushed it off the stage.
Oh, rude.
Yeah,
but you know what? I would
that, but I'm expecting the metaphorical.
I would not be opposed to John Cena taping a big sign that says "Attention GFW" and putting it on Corbin's back or something.
GFW losing some people, by the way, so they may have a spot for him.
Yeah, well, they did sign a couple of interesting people this week as well. Yeah, my girl Kiera Hogan.
Your girl.
I love her. But we'll see what happens with her. And there's one other
Big Show, Big Cass is going to be when I go to the bodega and get cookies to help wash out my Penang curry that I got 3 hours prior.
Funny thing about this is that the reports that are saying that Enzo Amore is being suspended in the shark cage above the ring as further punishment for the heat on him because apparently he doesn't like heights.
I love this company. Love this company.
Fucking garbage. But you know what? If Enzo is really the scumbag that he's being revealed to be, then you know what? Whatever. You know what?
I'd be more outraged if I cared. But I got a lot of stuff to be outraged about. Enzo Amore's phobias are not one of them.
Mm-hmm. I said in reference to another topic. Cockroaches creep. It's all they know.
Oh,
Enzo Amore is proving himself to be a cockroach. Demon Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt.
God, I care so little about this match.
Ugh. If Finn Balor loses to Bray Wyatt as If Finn Balor as the Demon loses to Bray Wyatt, then they should never bring the Demon out again because the Demon will be fucking worthless at that
Oh,
point.
they should bring the Demon out again, ever again, anyways.
I don't mind it coming up for special occasions. This is not an.
Well, let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question then. If the Demon is invulnerable, why is Finn ever not the Demon?
Painting
Like,
takes a
it just
while.
seems illogical. You have this crutch that you can use to win every match whenever you use the crutch.
The Demon's not invulnerable. The Demon did lose to Samoa Joe. We've been over that. Like, that has happened. Can't discount that. Granted, it was a steel cage match, but the Demon did lose to Samoa Joe. So the Demon is not unbeatable. But I will say this. The fact that the Demon is coming out for the first time in a year, because the last time the Demon came out was the night that Finn won the Universal title and got injured by Seth Rollins.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that the Demon is coming out for the first time...
The belt.
The fact that the Demon is coming out for the first time in a year, literally, again, and it's coming out for fucking Bray Wyatt is abysmal.
God, Bray Wyatt, just
send him back to NXT.
Send him to GFW. Just go away, Bray.
You know what? Yeah, it's like
you're not helping.
You're a legacy, but whatever. You're fucking wasting space right now.
You're not helping, Bray.
Yeah, Tanya has it right. If Baron wins, then beating Cena means nothing anymore. And if Bray wins, then beating the Demon and the Demon in general means nothing anymore.
True. Tanya. Tanya on
there
point.
You go.
I gotta listen to Wednesday Night Shooting, by the way. I was in bed at like 9 o'clock Wednesday, so I totally.
It was a good show. It was a good show.
We're done.
Shout out to Wednesday Night Shooting.
Yeah.
We'll give you guys. We'll give you guys another plug at the end of the show.
Yeah, we'll do the plugs.
Yeah.
But I gotta listen when the show's over.
Yeah. Randy Orton versus Rusev, another match I could not possibly care any less about because it's going to end with a fucking. It's going to end with a fucking RKO, and that'll be it.
I like Randy Orton too. I'm the only one, but I like him. Yeah, it's going to end with an RKO, but we already saw the RKO, Chris. They ruined it.
Yep. So many things have been ruined, but whatever. I mean, it's predictable. That's whatever. AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens for the United States Championship with Shane McMahon as a special guest referee. Is there any way that this does not turn into a brawl among all three of them?
No, because they're going to save the physicality for the Survivor Series. I think this ends with, quote, Shane, quote, screwing, unquote, Owens.
Probably.
Maybe missing a submission, or my shoulder was up, or you know what I mean? So that way, that's how we further that.
Tanya says send Bray to Southpaw. Perfect.
Yeah. No, I like Southpaw. Don't send him there.
Yeah, that's true.
Send him somewhere I'm not going to watch.
I was going to say he would fit right in with the Butchers, but yeah, no, he doesn't even have enough charisma to be part of the Butchers.
Dude, one of two things with Bray Wyatt. Bring back NXT Bray, who was the creepy cult preacher, not this mumbo-jumbo witch doctor bullshit, or get the fuck off my television. One or the other.
Either one, yeah.
Get off my TV.
I do think actually this match with Styles and Owens is gonna.
Shane's
probably gonna get involved.
The Demon is Finn Balor with paint. Same kicks, same stomps. There's nothing different.
Yeah.
A little diversification. I don't need Finn Balor to be cosplaying. Like, give me something. Give me some meat to the Demon gimmick.
Yeah, they do need to do a little something with that more.
Remember, there was all that. There was a little bit of that talk about he can't control the Demon, so it like takes him over or something. It's just him. It's just a grown ass man coming up on his 40s wearing paint to the ring.
Yeah, I mean,
I saw that. It was called Sting.
It might have worked better like 5 years ago, but Finn Balor's 36 now, and he has miles on him. He has a lot of miles on him.
A lot of miles.
And a lot of injuries too.
Little.
Yeah. Anyway, do you think Styles retains?
Yeah, Styles retains with a little ref fuckery.
Yeah, same. Jinder Mahal with the Singh brothers versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the WWE Championship.
Now I'm intrigued because we don't have the specter of Baron Corbin's cash-in.
Yeah.
Over this match.
Oh yeah, I'm so happy about the fact that Nakamura winning doesn't mean a 5-minute title reign. That
being said, I don't think Nakamura's winning now, though.
I do.
Really?
I absolutely do.
Oh, tell me more.
Well, let's think about this. Punjabi prison match ends with Great Khali coming back to save Jinder. We don't see Khali again. Even though all the signs said that Great Khali came back to help shore up Jinder's numbers in India, the market he's supposed to be helping WWE dominate. But his numbers have been shit. Khali doesn't come back. So that means Jinder doesn't have anything backing him up, and his numbers will therefore continue to be shit. Meanwhile, they're finally displaying Nakamura as being, viable and worthy of your attention, and he just had an awesome match against the leader of the company in John Cena. So
awesome, strong praise, but okay, so far so good. I'm with you so far.
I mean, people who haven't seen Wrestle Kingdom 9 would call it an awesome match. I'll say that much.
Okay, I mean,
yeah. I think Nakamura gets the win here. I really do, because Jinder's time as champion, it has served its purpose, and its purpose has not been for anything meaningful and worthwhile. So I think that the crowd and also the crowd will fucking turn on this match and the whole show in a heartbeat if Nakamura does not win. Because they're already coming out of this expecting either Roman or Brock to retain the title, and they're not going to be happy with either of those results. So they're going to want to see one of their guys holding the top title in the company before the night is out. So unless Vince wants the whole Brooklyn crowd to be booing the shit out of the show from the moment Nakamura gets pinned until the end of the show.
If he cared about that, he wouldn't have booked Battleground the way he did.
I guess. I don't know. I feel. I
hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Yeah. I hope this time next week you're saying, George, you're a dumbass because Nakamura is the champion. I am props. I am all in on that. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily see it happening.
Yeah.
Okay. I've been a dumbass before. I'll be a dumbass again.
I just remembered we did have one question on Twitter that I wanted to address, but we'll wait on that until after we're done with these predictions.
Okay.
Next is the Raw Women's title match, Alexa Bliss versus Sasha Banks.
God, I hope Sasha wins.
I hope Sasha wins, but I have a feeling Alexa retains.
Yeah, me too. Question! That's my other question. I had a question for you.
Yeah. Here we go.
In light, 2 questions. Okay? Question number 1. Is it time to retire the Money in the Bank concept in light of boring Corbin's failed cash-in? Wait for a few years?
I would say that the Money in the Bank cash-in needs to be entirely overhauled. The whole idea that a wrestler can cash in any time without it being without it being announced ahead of time, or that they can, just do it in the middle of a match or something like that, and make it so that they can just purposefully take advantage of the exact opportune moment, is stupid as hell to me.
No, I hate that. I love that.
I hate that.
You earned that by winning a ladder match, by winning a top ladder match.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. I feel like what they should be doing is have that be that you say, give them at least 24 hours notice. You have to give them at least 24 hours notice.
No, all the fun is in the cash-in.
I don't know about that. But the other thing, the thing that's of greater importance to me, and this is something that I've been thinking about ever since last year, when Sheamus won Money in the Bank and then proceeded to be a complete chump for 5 months and then suddenly win the title from Roman at the end of that Survivor Series match. No, that was 2 years ago. I'm sorry.
2 years ago. Last year, Ambrose cashed in the night of.
Yeah. So this is something I've been thinking about since the 2015 Money in the Bank when Sheamus won. If you're going to if you win the Money in the Bank, the briefcase should be on the line for you, and your opportunity to use the briefcase should be on the line. It
should be contested like a regular championship.
Yeah, if you get pinned in a singles match, the person that or in a tag team match or something, the person that pins you should then get a shot at the briefcase. That's what I think it should be. I mean, it shouldn't be that every single match you're in, the briefcase is on the line, but if you lose, then your worthiness to hold the briefcase should then be in jeopardy. Make it be that the briefcase is not just, you know, a security blanket that you can hold on to, regardless of the fact that you go on like a 2-month losing streak. Because that's what happened with Sheamus.
I think Money in the Bank needs to be put back on WrestleMania or on SummerSlam. I don't think it should be its own pay-per-view. I think it should be, Tiny says it best, make it like the Rumble for SummerSlam.
Yeah.
I think that works. Or back to WrestleMania. It started off on WrestleMania. That works too. One or the other.
Either way, I mean, yeah, it shouldn't have a whole pay-per-view devoted to it, definitely.
I'd be okay with it going away for 5 years. And then coming back and being special.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that too.
I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay with that. But
like the fact that Ambrose cashed in the night of last year, and then we didn't have it for a year. You know, it was like, okay, this could actually be interesting. And then they put it on Corbin, and it was like, yeah, no, I don't fucking care anymore.
Yeah.
If they had put it on Nakamura or AJ, like that would have been.
Well, I think the concept itself is played out a little bit.
Yeah, the concept is definitely played out. Okay. Like I said, it needs to either be overhauled or it needs to be retired.
Question number 2.
Yes.
Who is a bigger loser? Baron Corbin failing to cash in the briefcase, or Bayley in the kendo stick fiasco?
You really want to bring up that fucking kendo stick match on a poll again?
I do. Because I like to piss you off.
Oh my god, you must hate me.
I do. I loathe you.
You asshole.
I do. I am an asshole. I am a heel. I am the king heel. I am, you know what? I am the king heel. I am the Dark Lord of the Sith. You're the little apprentice bullshit guy who betrays me at the end. I'm the king here, man. But no, seriously though, who looked worse, Corbin or Bayley?
You know what? I'm actually going to say Bayley here.
Okay, because that's what I said.
I mean, yeah,
it's can afford to look like losers every now and again, and because that's how it works.
Corbin lost because he was arrogant and because he was tunnel visioned. Bayley lost because she was weak.
And she asked for the match.
And
then hesitated.
Is infinitely worse. Weakness is infinitely worse than arrogance.
She convinced Kurt Angle to make the match and then failed.
Yeah. It was absolutely Bayley. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and then we got the sexual innuendo from Corey Graves that went nowhere. Thank Christ.
Oh, God. Okay, I'm gonna kick you off the podcast if you ever bring that up again.
Yeah, that's gonna let us not speak of these.
Buried in the annals of history, never to come back again.
Yep.
All right.
All right, Sasha or Alexa?
Like I said, I want Sasha to win. Alexa's probably going.
I think if Alexa wins, Nakamura wins, using your logic, and if Sasha wins, Jinder wins. No one in this company will be both Jinder and Alexa. However, though, it's too bad because Sasha's pretty great right now.
Naomi Natalia. I really want Naomi to win, and I really want Carmella to then cash in and then fail on the cash in as well.
I don't think they're going to both fail. But
I would love it if they both failed, because like as a way to like separate Carmella from Ellsworth.
Ellsworth screws her out of it by being inept somehow.
Yeah, like Ellsworth convinces her to cash in, but Naomi is ready for her.
Yeah,
and Naomi just dominates her
with Benadryl or whatever. Yeah,
yeah, and then
Naomi driller.
And then Carmella kicks Ellsworth to the curb.
All right, I'm cool with it. I don't think
I would be 100% okay with that.
I don't think you're gonna have both cash in back to back, which is basically what would happen.
Probably not this event, but yeah, Naomi's got to win here, because if Natalia wins a fucking championship in 2017, then Vince officially belongs in a fucking retiree home.
No way. Good God, Natalia's just so boring. She's the white toast. She's the unbuttered white toast of professional wrestling.
Yeah, like everybody who says that she's a great worker, they are fucking kidding themselves.
When's the last time she had a great match? Nikki Bella in the Falls Anywhere.
She was the best worker when it was the fucking Divas division and nobody was working.
Yeah.
That was when she was the best worker. And being the best of a bunch of turds still makes you a turd. Sorry to say.
No, Naomi's pretty great. She has
fantastic. I love Naomi.
We talk about hard work. You know, she busted her ass and she got a lot better.
100%.
Now all she got to do is retire those stupid jump kick things.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like them, but you know, it definitely I can see why people wouldn't.
It looks pretty fake. It looks very contrived. The thing where she bounces from one leg to the other leg, which kicks her in the side, that needs to go away. That's what I'm talking about.
The slide into the slap though is fantastic.
Yeah, that's cool. Like that. Like that a lot. Plus, she's a great baby face. She got a cool smile. Crowd likes her. She cuts a good promo. She gets her character. Like, what's not to like?
Yeah, and I don't care what anybody says. I'm on board with the glowing title. I am so on board with the glowing title belt.
No, Matt, you're wrong. The Falls Count Anywhere Naomi Nikki Bella match was pretty great.
Natalia Nikki Bella.
The Natalia Nikki Bella Falls Count where they were fighting in the concession stand. Come on.
That was fun.
That was awesome. Don't hate.
That was good, but that's been the high point of Natalia's career for several years.
That's it. Yeah. Well, the Charlotte match from the Roadblock wasn't terrible, I don't think. I thought that was good. Roadblock 1.0. The one where
it was all right.
Where Dean Ambrose had his best ever singles match against Triple H of all people.
Yeah. And then we've got the main events. Lesnar, Reigns, Joe, Strowman. The beef fest. Man, I'm
so excited for this match.
The whole cow.
I am. This match is the highlight of my Sunday. I cannot.
This is going to be amazing.
Highlight of my weekend. Cannot wait for this match. I think Brock is going to retain.
Yeah, I hate to say it. But
we're not quite yet at Brock being cage fighter. We're close.
There are a lot of reports saying that they're backing off from him losing.
Yeah.
I don't know why though. I mean, they suddenly is Dana suddenly backing down from wanting the John Jones fight?
Who knows?
Or what?
No, Brock's a draw. Brock in the cage is a big draw, and they need draws.
Yeah.
IME's hemorrhaging money right now in the UFC. So they need Brock, and they need Brock more than Brock needs them.
Yeah.
To be honest. So I don't know what that's going on. I don't know what's going on with the USADA testing pool. I know he has 5 months. He's got to be clean or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So that clock can start whenever he wants. So the next time you see Brock come out a little inflated, you'll know the clock has started. So I think Brock wins. I think I'm positive Joe takes the fall. I would be shocked if someone other than Joe takes the fall. To be honest.
Yeah, that sucks because I wanted Joe to get the win. Initially, before I wanted Roman to get the win, I wanted Joe to get the win.
All of these guys have been great.
Yeah, they've been doing great job.
Awesome. Angle's been good as the overmatched boss trying to separate these forces of nature. I love this is such a great feud. It's all of this. The Roman Reigns Braun Strowman feud has been great. Too long, but great. Joe Brock has been just otherworldly.
All of these guys. All these guys. All right, so the question I got on Twitter from our friend of the show, Dance Owens Dance.
Oh boy!
He asked me, what is the most annoying exclusion?
And yes, Todd, you've seen this should retire the 5-knuckle shuffle, but go on.
He asked me, what is the most annoying exclusion from the SummerSlam card for you? Who's off the SummerSlam card that you wish was on
it? Off the card, who I wish was on it? Probably Charlotte. I'd rather have Naomi versus Charlotte than Naomi versus Natalia. I don't care about alignments. If I'm just looking for a better wrestling match with characters I care about, probably Charlotte. There are about 3 or 4 people I can think of on the card that I want off the card, like Bray Wyatt. Oh, can I have another one? Can I add another name in that list?
Certainly.
Chad Gable. I want on the card. Chad Gable. Wouldn't mind him in this AJ Styles Kevin Owens match.
Yeah.
I think that'd be great.
For sure.
I wouldn't mind him. Yeah, I'd be cool with that.
The inclusion of either of them or Becky Lynch would make
Becky Lynch. Yeah, Charlotte or Becky. I'll say Charlotte or Becky instead of Natalia, and I'll say Chad Gable in addition to AJ Styles and Kevin Owens. I know who you're going to say.
Becky Lynch.
Say Becky Lynch, and I thought you were going to say the Febreze.
Breezango? No, I'm fine with them being off the card and then taking some time with it. Because that I mean, as much as I enjoy, the Fashion Police segments and Fashion Peaks and all that stuff, I'm fine with them not having a comedy segment in the middle of a fucking 6-hour show. That's I'd rather if they're gonna give me a 6-hour show, at least make it be 6 hours of actual wrestling.
True.
You know.
True.
But yeah, like the inclusion of Becky, Charlotte, and/or Gable would do wonders to make the SmackDown side of the card look so much better.
Agreed. I get it. I know why they're doing Naomi and Natalya, because otherwise, why waste a marquee matchup on a card that's already pretty stacked? I get it.
The other name.
You asked me what I would do, and that's what I would do: Charlotte, Becky, or Gable.
The other name that I'm going to say, and this is one that you should be ashamed of yourself for not mentioning, Mr. Luke Harper, who hasn't even been on fucking TV in months.
That's over with him. They're never gonna go anywhere with him.
It's so sad.
Yeah, it is.
Dude has such an amazing ability to galvanize people behind him. For a guy who like almost never talks,
I care about his wrestling.
He does such a good job of making you care about what he does.
I care about his wrestling.
It should be that U.S. title match should be Styles, Gable, Harper as a triple threat. That's what the match should be. You can take Kevin Owens off the fucking SummerSlam card, and I would not bat an eyelash.
Sure. Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Because fucking lazy ass phoning it in Kevin Owens, I've been done with that for months.
Yeah.
Luke Harper goes out.
What, Chinlock Owens doesn't do it for you?
No, never. Never has, never will. If you give me a triple threat match between Styles, Gable, and Harper, I would forgive 90% of the sins that SmackDown's committed since the start of the year. Because that match would be spectacular. And nobody can convince me otherwise. Adam, you're right. The botching of Luke Harper is really fucking sad and is a low point of 2017. Absolutely. Harper should have had some sort of a singles title run, as you know, after doing the lion's share of the work in that Wyatt family feud that started off 2017. He was the linchpin of that feud, and I don't care what anybody says otherwise. He was the center point, and and we've talked about it before. As soon as he disappeared from the feud, the whole thing went fucking downhill into the abyss, and that was when we got fucking projector match.
Yep.
Harper should have gotten, if not a WWE title run, at least another IC title run or a US title run. Something. Anything. So yeah, that's those are my most annoying or obnoxious omissions from the SummerSlam card.
Got anything else?
Yeah, just the plugs. We're gonna alter up the plugs a little bit. I actually have a new one to add to the list. Because I had the wonderful opportunity to meet, even just for a very brief time, but I got to meet the Lady J from Facelock Femmes while I was at Evolve in Progress last Saturday. Very kind, very, very nice woman. Part of the PW Girl gang, all inclusive altogether. We love you guys. Shout out to you guys. And continue to do awesome work of spreading the message of inclusion into the pro wrestling community because we need it. So definitely check out Facelock Femmes, check out PW Girl Gang, and all of their affiliated podcast channels. Yeah, thank you for always being awesome. And shout out again to Not Your Demographics, Stunning Style Cheeks, and Aaron Klein. Congratulations on 2 years. Here's to as many more as you two feel like doing together. Wednesday Night Shooting, Tanya Rogers and Andrew M. Swift. Love you guys. You guys are doing an awesome job. I love your show, and continue to tune into them. And let's see, who else? Shooting Debris with Mr. Dr. Senju and Taker's Minion. They broadcasted this morning, and they're going to be broadcasting tomorrow morning, and they're going to have some special guests. One of whom will be
me.
You.
I haven't actually talked to them, but I'll be up.
Yeah.
I get up early, so I'll be ready to rock and roll. If they want to rock and roll, they know how to reach me.
They are doing a takeover preview show. It's going to be tomorrow morning, I believe, starting at 10 a.m. Eastern.
Bright and early. I'll have a Bloody Mary in one hand and a wrestling spreadsheet in the other. It's going to be great.
So get ready for that. And we've also got Fizzy's Wacky World of Wrestling. They had a short show today because Don Sal is recovering from some medical issues. Get well soon, Sal. Hope to have you back in commission very soon. But be sure to check them out as well. And anybody else? No, I think that's it.
That's
That's our podcast plugs.
That's it.
And next week we'll be back with results for Takeover and SummerSlam. We'll also look over some results from the ROH, RPW, CMLL, New Japan, War of the Worlds UK, which is happening this weekend, which we didn't even get to talk about because we've had that much wrestling to talk about. But that's happening this weekend. We'll have some results from that as well next week, and whatever the else we feel like talking about. Because you know us, we talk about whatever we want to.
We talk about everything and anything.
Yeah.
Next week we'll do what? SummerSlam recap, you think?
Yep, SummerSlam recap. Takeover recap, War of the Worlds recap.
Yeah. I don't want to just do all recaps. Maybe we'll do a little history. I don't know. Maybe I'll watch some 1994 Monday Night Raw and talk about it. It's been a little bit. Why not? Maybe I'll watch a little British Bulldog or something, you know?
Maybe I'll
watch some old '99 Attitude Era. Why the hell not? Kane or maybe the tag team of Kane and X-Pac or something. Something that's just wacky.
The triple threat, Rock, Hogan, and Kane versus was it DX or I don't remember if it's DX
Rock,
or
Hogan and Kane.
With the promo of Kane. It doesn't matter if you're ready.
Oh, that's right.
Against Nash Hall and
01 Austin X-Pac. When he was out of his mind, incredible.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it. The match Benoit and Jericho versus Austin and Triple H.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it before. Maybe I'll watch that and talk about that. I don't know. We'll see. I'm feeling a little history. I'm feeling a little historical. So anyway,
Matt DSM still wants a Star Wars episode. We'll have that be a special edition. We'll have that be a special edition episode.
Yeah, we'll do it. What are we talking about? Machete Order? Do you know Machete Order?
Oh yeah, I've watched Machete Order a few times.
We'll discuss the merits of Machete Order.
Yeah,
so, that'll make Matt happy. Well, Matt, if you don't know Machete Order, look up Machete Order.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's it. Friday night. Enjoy your weekend, everyone. Thank you for listening. We love our listeners, even when we hate our listeners, which is never. We love our listeners. Spread the word, retweets, YouTube likes, Facebook shares. We're actually not on Facebook, so don't do that.
Yeah.
That would be fake news. That would be fake news, but Twitter and YouTube for sure. You guys rock. The live chat kicks ass.
Thank you all. Twitter.com/2guys1sport, number 2, number 1 in the URL.
That's it.
Tell everybody.
By the way, please, long-term project. I am thinking about opening a site for the show. If you want to be a part of the site, a site under my URL that I will not take any money over, that I'll finance with my own money. You want to host your podcast on my site, Tanya and Andrew? Maybe we can do that. You want to write for my site, Chris? Maybe we can do that. Now that the summer's kind of dying down and a little slower at the office, I can start putting together, maybe using Wix as a forum or WordPress or something. I'm thinking about putting a site together. So keep that in the front of your mind, and maybe we'll go from there.
Maybe if anybody has any experience in web design, please feel free to hit us up.
I don't mind dropping some money to host a site.
Our Twitter links are.
I don't have to worry about angry people in Iowa telling me what I can and cannot write about.
Our Twitter links are in the description of the video. Please feel free to hit us up in whatever form or fashion you so choose. And thank you again for being friendly, loyal listeners. We love you all.
You guys are the best. We love you all. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the wrestling. And as always, don't work yourself into a shoot. For Chris, I'm George. Good night, everybody.
No!